listening to Electrician Live with your host, Paul Abernathy and Jay Grunberg. Well, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Electrician Live. My name is Paul Abernathy, and thanks for taking the time out of your day to join us here on Electrician Live every Saturday evening at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We get together and we start talking all things electrical. And so, as you know, I want to bring in my co-host, Jay Grunberg. So let me go on and shift on over and get to Jay so we can have a good conversation. Jay, good evening.
Good evening, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so not having you now, man. You're a co-host. You're eventually I'm not going to be cutting away to you. We're just going to come to both of us, but I got to fix all that. So all right. Hey, so Jay, tonight I'm going to be pulling heavily on you. You've got guys out in the field doing a lot of work out in the field, using a lot of different types of tools. I'm going to pull on my history of the different tools and, of course, what I'm using today. People always like to ask what you're using today, Paul. When you do get out, this old gray-haired guy does occasionally get out there. So we're going to have a good discussion on the different type of tools. And so are you ready? We're really going to dig into this tool thing?
Yeah, I'm super excited. Ever since we were talking about this topic or bringing it up, we have some discrepancies out in the field of who uses what and what I use and what other guys use and what we bring our apprentices in trying to get them to use. So I'm excited. All
right. Well, I'm excited because, again, I want to find out what you use. Okay. I want to know what your guys are using, what you're buying. We have potential sponsors out there that maybe would think about sponsoring Electrician Live if they thought that they could get some market share. I don't know. But speaking of which, our sponsor tonight is Electrician Pride, where you get all of your T-shirts, hoodies, mugs, phones. Well, you know what? Let me go on and run the promo, and then we'll get into tonight's topic. Today's show is sponsored by electricianpride.com, your one-stop shop for electrician-specific T-shirts, hoodies, phone cases, mugs, die-cut stickers, leggings, and so much more. Featuring unique designs for electricians, journeymen, and master electricians, as well as electrical engineers and electrical inspectors. For more information on all the products that are available, visit us at www.electricianpride.com today. All right. So again, some great stickers over there. Jay's picked up on them. He has the Tesla stickers that I don't even have. So he's got the new one we designed with the Nikola Tesla on it and everything like that. So I don't know how that happened. I guess he ordered it or got it right away. I ain't even gotten any yet. So anyway.
I guess there's special privileges for being the co-host, and that might have been one of them because I received my pack of 5 yesterday, and I already have one slapped on my 2020 code book. So I'm geared up, ready to go.
There you go. All right, and we're going to come out with some other designs. Maybe you get creative with me and give me some ideas on some different type of designs I can create. So,
it'd be nice is we got a lot of listeners out there that are code strong, and I would love to maybe show some love.
Didn't I promise that somewhere over on the Facebook forum? I think I said that I'm going to come up with a code strong specifically for our code people that go through the fast tracks and have success. And I want to give them, I'm all about giving away the smaller little stickers that can go on hard hats and everything like this. So, and I've been giving them away. So, you know what? I'm going to write that down.
Got to show some love, man. Show some love to the code strong out there. That's our support base. So
there you go. Got to give the love. So I'm gonna make a note. Code strong, and I'll figure out some kind of design. Maybe a muscle guy just holding some tools. Holding some tools in his hands, or whatever. I don't know. I'll figure something out. It'll be wicked. All right. So we're gonna dig into this a little bit, Jay. We're gonna look at it, and the first question. We actually have some topics tonight, so that's kind of for folks out there who are familiar with the show. We're going to start having more structured base of questions that me and Jay can pop back and forth and have strong discussions on. And again, the beauty of it is you'll get the flavor of the younger, I hate to say it, younger crowd today, and then you'll get the old moldy oldie me, and that type of thing. But I'd have some things that might surprise you, okay, that I'll talk about. All right. First things first. You ready? What are your favorite brands of electrical tools you use? Now, you said earlier before we came on air, you said that you assume we're talking electric tools because one of the questions is going to be about hand tools. So you were absolutely astute. We're going to talk about your electrical tools and electric tools that we would plug into site generator or temporary power or whatnot. So drills, or maybe you use cordless. Everything you use is cordless. So I'll let you kick it off. Tell me some of the brands you like. And again, we're not partial to any brand here. So just kind of tell me some of the things that you like, what you use as far as your drills and things. And I'll tell you, kind of come back with some of the things that I used to use as a contractor very heavily, and we'll see where it goes.
Awesome. Yeah, so what we have on our vans that I purchased now, being in the business for over 12 years, my first set of power tools, believe it or not, was a refurbished Bosch.
Oh, Bosch.
Set.
Yeah,
Bosch
I had a
set.
hammer drill.
Power tool.
I had a hammer drill from Bosch. And I tell you what, that sucker punched plenty of holes in the side of walls.
Love them.
Yeah.
I love that drill. My journeyman at the time, he was the one who invited me into the trade. He offered me that gig, that job to the start of my apprenticeship. And he said, hey, man, I know you're probably not making as much as, you should be or what you could possibly make in the future. So he guided me out to get a Bosch drill set. And so I went out and bought a refurbished Bosch drill set, which actually held up for over a good 2 years. And it was great. It was amazing. So that's what I started with. And then throughout the time, I switched to DeWalt. Coming up, they did have I don't know if they have it now, but they had a 12-volt set as well. I had the hammer drill.
And now they're like on drill. What? Now like the volts things are like 24 volt. I mean, they've gone crazy now with the
I don't even know if they have a 12-volt set. I think it's just 20 volt and up.
Okay. Oh, I'm not even sure.
Well, one of my guys that works for me, he's a big DeWalt fan, and he was saying that about the DeWalt set, that he wishes they had a 12-volt set. So I'm gonna, bet dollars a donuts that right now DeWalt is not putting out a 12-volt set, which again, I like the 12 volts. So I was doing the DeWalt coming up, and I loved their little 12-volt flashlight they had, because doing commercial, I would always be in a ceiling, like a drop grid ceiling. I'd push up the tiles and I'd try to look around, and I hated wearing the headlight, the flashlight on your head.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's something that the battery would die on you. You'd be halfway in the middle of installing something. So I'd bring up the 12-volt flashlight with an extra battery, just in case. I'd have it in my tool pouch.
Right.
Just to wear those big gator belts as a commercial electrician. So I'd set this 12-volt battery, or this 12-volt flashlight, and it had a magnet on it. So I'd set it on the duct or a piece of conduit, or I'd even rope a piece of 12 THHN wire around it, and it had a clip too as well. So it kind of came in handy. So coming up, I used DeWalt. Didn't mind it. But now I've switched.
Uh-oh.
I've switched.
Drum roll. Where do you at now?
I've actually switched to the Milwaukee. That's what I use now.
Okay. I even pictured you as a Milwaukee guy earlier. I think I teased you about it. I said, I'm that guy. I bet you I can guess that you're a Milwaukee guy. And I didn't even know. So, you can't knock them. Milwaukee stuff. I mean, you got their fan base, right? They got the people that are you go to Instagram, right? You got people that are just posting picture after picture. I mean, that's what I get tired of going to Instagram. I'm like, okay, I don't want to see your tools anymore. There's people post tools after tools after tools. It's like a tool show. And everybody's proud of their tools, and they want to show their tools. And I'm like, get out there and work with those tools, because they look like they're so clean. You ain't even working with those tools. But yeah, Milwaukee's got a huge following. But DeWalt has a real good following. People swear by him. So all of your guys, everybody just uses Milwaukee now. When you're roughing in a house or the basements, or do you use cordless, or are you still going with the corded? What are you doing with that? Are you switching? And my brother has switched over, believe it or not, over to cordless everything, and he used these speed bits, and I can't remember who they're made by. These speed bits, they got blue on the end of it. I don't know what they are, but I've got some. I want to think they're Irwin. Anyway, they've got the quick connect, and boom, he just boom, 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 booms. He doesn't even use the big drills anymore. So when y'all are cutting and drilling your holes and everything, do you cordless or corded?
We actually do both.
Okay,
every van that we have that we put out there, every van has a cordless, about 2 cordless hole hogs that we keep in the bag to carry in, and then we tuck away the corded hole hog. And usually we use the corded for maybe custom homes if we're going to be drilling for 6 to 8 hours.
Right,
those
just
batteries
nonstop. Don't want to keep going back for battery deals.
Yeah, and I mean, Milwaukee and probably DeWalt, they have those turtles that you can charge 6 batteries at a time. Well, you can put 6 batteries on them, but they only charge 1 at a time, should I say.
So you charge one, use it, and it'll be charging another one.
That's right. And it's handy to just plug in right in the morning. I tell my apprentices, hey, your first job, get the batteries out and get them plugged in. That is your job for the first 15, 20 minutes on the job while everybody else is hauling in the other tools or the material, boxing out. So we use whole hogs, cordless majority of the time. I try to stay away from using the actual 18-volt drills. I don't mind them, but they tend to bind up with those drill bits.
You would think the drills with the higher voltage is giving you more torque, that you would migrate more to that, because you did say you like 12 volt, and I'm thinking 12 volt is so 1990s, right? Or maybe 2000s. Yeah, it shouldn't say 1990. I don't even know if we had cordless then. 2000s. So, and what happened is they keep bumping up the voltage. And so I'm surprised that you like the 12 volt stuff. I would think you would like the 20 volt or 24 volt or 22 or whatever it is, and get more torque and more power, that type of scenario. And maybe run a little longer, because those batteries tend to run a little longer now that we have the lithium ions and all that kind of stuff. But
well, the 12 volts I'm only using for minor installs. That's for like when I'm drilling in my devices.
Okay, just drilling in, driving screws, that type of thing.
That's the drill that I can put on my pouch or on the person.
Okay.
The 18 volt drill, the whole hog, that's 18 volt. I don't know the ampere per hours that we have on those things.
Sure.
But
so me as a contractor, growing up, again, dating myself here, but I started out using Milwaukee. And when I would rough in houses, and I'd probably still do it today, before I came to Texas, I actually lent my 90 Milwaukee bit, right angle, I guess it's a right angle drill, with the extension on it, to a friend. And all of a sudden, the friend wasn't around when I moved to Texas, so now they still have it. And I can tell you right now, and it's corded, obviously, so I didn't have the cordless one, because I did not want to go back to and my brother as well, because that's when we started together in business. We both had our Milwaukees, and Todd today, he just uses, and I'll go into the brand he uses in a minute, but and it's also the brand I use, and I'm sure I'll get a bunch of I don't know, we'll say laughter for some of the people in the crowd. I don't know why, but I will get it from them. Anyway, so let me go back. So I would use a corded Milwaukee with a right angle drill, pretty stout. You buy the extension on it, and at the end you put a 6-inch auger bit. And it allowed me to drill joists without moving, just without getting on a ladder. Boom, 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 boom. It allowed me to drill the studs at the proper height. And because of the extension, you could rest it on a certain part of your leg as you're drilling. And then all those holes would be perfectly in line, because you just got used to using the extension. Never really used a cordless at all. Everything was corded. Of course, people are going to say, well, of course, Paul, that's back when Moses was around. But the reality is we just, today, everything that I use today is cordless. And the shock that, and I don't do the big houses anymore. When we were doing big houses, they were 12,000 square foot houses. And I mean, I can see why I'd use the corded, like you said, we were just drilling all day long. And I would train my apprentices and helpers and even other electricians as I was drilling, they could almost know the way to pull the wire by just following my holes. Right? Whether I'm going to save time and go under and up, I can just go to one box, drill down, go to the other box, drill down. And they're like, what am I doing? You're not drilling through the studs. I'm like, yeah, because I don't want you to go through the studs. I want you to poke it down, make sure you got long enough length, and you're going to poke it up the other side. We're going to save a little time here. Or I'm drilling through the joists. But anyway, they got to where they understood where I was going to be. And so I always had the corded. Now, today, my brother does everything, and I'm going to say, to answer mine, because you said your favorite today is Milwaukee, I'm going to say my favorite brand of electric tool today is my Ryobis. Now, people are giving me a bunch of grief about Ryobis. Oh, that's because you don't work that much anymore, Paul. Look, my brother uses Ryobis. He beats them to death, and he works 5 days a week hard and sometimes on the weekends, and he's dropped them from ladders. I've dropped them from ladders. They just keep getting it. So I'm not a fanboy. In other words, I go for Milwaukee because I think it's the best. Or I go for DeWalt because I think it's the best. I go for what gets the job done. And Ryobi's never let me down when I switched. And it doesn't let my brother down. So that's my favorite brand when it comes to tools. And people say, well, that's a prosumer. That's a consumer. That's not a pro. You got to have Milwaukee. So I can pay $400 for a Milwaukee. Or I can pay $200 some for Ryobi. And for me, it lasts the same amount of time. And if I break it, I can go buy a new Ryobi. All right. So I don't know. What's your thought? Have you used any Ryobis?
I have not used like the drill Ryobi, but I do have, as a homeowner, I have the Ryobi wet tile saw that you plug in. Mm-hmm. I did my whole backsplash by using that. Other than that, I've steered away from Ryobi just because I have a tremendous amount of Milwaukee tools.
Yeah, it's because Jay has sold out to Milwaukee. I'm just saying. He has sold out to Milwaukee.
I will.
So,
Milwaukee,
I will say, if you want to sponsor this half of the show, Jay's your guy.
Give it to this guy here. I'll take right all the Milwaukee you want to bring.
Yeah, we'd love to do some product reviews on those Milwaukee products, but I contacted her. I sent something to Ryobi and said, "Hey, let's do a review on one of your products. I have a lot of history with them. My brother does too." They were like, "We're not taking any more sponsors right now." They're like, "No," and I was like, I could have helped you out. Just send me the speaker, the Ryobi Wi-Fi speaker. That'd be awesome." But anyway, I didn't. So anyway, so I like my Ryobis. Again, do I own DeWalt? I actually have a DeWalt. I actually have a Milwaukee. But my day-to-day, what I did today is I had to do some stuff today, and I used Ryobi, and it's never let me down. So to each his own. I'm sure I have the haters out there who always are the haters will say something about, yeah, Paul, he would use a Ryobi. Well, be prepared, because I'm going to shock you again a little later with some other tools that I use, okay? And you can call me whatever hack you want, but I've got 30 plus years in it, probably more than most people. So anywho, I ain't worried about them haters.
One of my guys, he's loves DeWalt, and he loves it. So and I said, Andrew, why do you love DeWalt? Why aren't you switching to the dark side? You have in your van, we have all the Milwaukee chargers, we have, the whole hogs, the 18 volts. I mean, we provide these,
and that's the biggest thing, right?
Guys.
Right, because if you're going to get the tools, it's about the batteries. They're expensive,
yes.
And if you've got a bunch of batteries, you don't want to have 2 batteries or 1 battery, and you're in the middle of a job. I mean, you've got all these batteries already because you are big Milwaukee. I'm just saying. Okay, so
well, he says that he sticks with DeWalt because his dad and his grandfather used them growing up. So he watched his grandfather and his dad abuse these tools, use them in and out, day in and day out. They praise them. And so I think it's a family tradition for them to get DeWalt, and he's stuck with it.
Hey, the manufacturers love loyalty, buddy. I've never been that loyal to anything. So, but there's plenty of people. Or just,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're on Instagram, but take a gander over on Instagram, and you're going to see that there are some people that are in love with their, and that's kind of scary, but they are. So anyway, okay. So for Jay, we got Milwaukee is the top favorite brand. And for me, my favorite brand is of power tools is Ryobi. Doesn't mean I don't like Milwaukee. Hey, if
he doesn't like it. Don't go back now. No.
All right, so I'm going to chalk myself up because I'm going to get hate mail. So I'm going to go with Ryobi. But as my brother would say, it has never let me down yet. So, all right, next, ready for the next topic. So next thing is, what brand of hand tools are your favorite? Now we're talking like the side cutters, diagonals, needle nose, and channel locks, which is actually a brand. But so, is there one that you migrate to more than one another? I mean, what do you got? You got Klein's, you got Ideals, you got Southwire makes tools now. You've got, there's so many different ones. What do you gravitate towards?
I'm versatile in all the trades or all the manufacturers when it comes to hand tools. Pretty much my hand screwdrivers, I stick with the Klein. My linemans, I stick with the Kleins. My side cutters are Kleins. But believe it or not, when I go to my strippers, I use Ideal Flex Fit. I just like how they fit in the hand. So I guess it really just depends on what hand tool I'm using. But most of them, I'd say I gravitate towards the Kleins. Okay.
So you're the Klein. Now, I have Klein.
Sure.
Okay. I have Klein. In fact, my that's the one thing, and my wife will tell me is when do you stop, when it comes to the tools? And I'm like, I have a garage that's just full of tools. And I'm like, you always need one more tool. One more tool, baby. So, I like Klein. I like Ideal okay. I don't buy the Southwire for obvious reasons that people know.
No, I do have a pair of Southwire.
Do you?
All
right. The show's going
they're
south.
The cable cutters. They're the cable cutters.
Oh, ratchets.
Ratchet cable cutters.
They're not bad. I had a pair of those. I don't remember who the manufacturer was that I had, but oh my God, what a lifesaver when it came to the SE cable and just
that 4-aught over the top, even though it's aluminum, 4-aught aluminum for your risers, for your incoming feeds that you're connecting to the power company. Just boom, 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 boom.
Oh, that was just.
I would bring up my Portaband for the longest time, my 12-volt Portaband, and I would cut them with my Portaband, and then I got a hold of those ratchets, and I
don't remember the brand I had. I really don't. When I moved to Texas, I had a massive yard sale. Put it on Craigslist, and let me tell you what. I sold things like hole punches, complete sets of hole punches that would have cost a couple $100.
Sure.
A whole big 4-inch trade size 4.
Sure.
With the ratchet, $20. You're gonna come to my house, man. Jay, I ain't lying. I had some. I think I had it like because I had a bunch of guys that worked for me before I finally sold the business off, so I still had all the tools. I had some right angle drills that looked like brand new that I sold for like $40. And right angle Milwaukee's because I couldn't take it with me. So they kind of got me because I came out here to Texas and Encore was paying for the ship me out here, and I had to sell my house in 3 months, and people were moving in the next day after when we were going to sell the house, and so finally sold it, and I had to have I still had a garage full of all this stuff, and so the people on the truck that was driving everything out here said, no more, it's full. And I had a weight bench and everything like that. It was nice. And I gave that away because I couldn't get it out here. I didn't have the time. So I had to sell it. So I went on Craigslist and, man, I just literally steals of deals. I had a wire locator, real nice, expensive wire locator, $25. The guy said, take $25 for it. And I normally would have said, no, I'll take $325 for it. But it was Greenlee. And I just said, fine. And people said, I wouldn't have done that. I just didn't have the room. It was a big move for me to go to Texas and just up and, offer, want me to come out here and then say, oh yeah, and by the way, you got to do it in 3 months. And the guy's like, no more. Your truck is full. We're not taking anything else. Not to mention, the long story short is they loaded the truck, and then once it was loaded, the price changed from what we were originally quoted. It went up $3,000 because I already had all my stuff on there. What was I going to say no and then have to take it all off because I had to be gone within the next day or two? He had me, and so I had to pay it. So don't trust those home movers, those long haul movers. Don't trust them. Shady.
His back's hurting anyway, so.
Huh?
I said his back's probably hurting right now anyways. He's rubbing it down with some icy hot or something. Those movers, man, they got it. So back to what you were saying on Craigslist. Coming up as an apprentice, that's where I would shop for some of my tools.
Really?
Yeah, I would type in Craigslist, and you just put in.
You didn't care used. It didn't matter. You could judge it and tell you whether or not. I mean, it's a tool, right? So I mean, you're like, look, how bad could it be?
Yeah, and sometimes you would find used, and sometimes you'd find new stuff, and the new stuff would be the price.
Like my stuff
for the used stuff, or like you're getting a steal, a bargain. So
you wouldn't have drove all the way to Virginia to get all the stuff that I had, babe. I had tons of stuff. I had table saws that were like brand new that I got rid of for $35-$40.
Oh wow!
I just had to get rid of it. I couldn't take it out with me. I just didn't have the room. But yeah, okay. So, I will say that most of the tools that I bought, we're still talking hand tools. I have my share of Kleins. I didn't have a problem with that deal. I had some even Greenlee. I find those fine, especially wire strippers. Greenlee makes pretty nice wire strippers. Pretty decent. But you will be shocked. You ready? I don't even have a suspense button for this one. Okay? So, about a year and a half ago, I was stumbling into Harbor Freight. I know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking out there. You're thinking, oh no, not the dreaded Harbor Freight. Yeah, that Harbor Freight. So, okay. I get a lot of stuff from Harbor Freight. I got a generator from Harbor Freight, this Predator or whatever it is. That thing runs like amazing for our travel trailer. The thing is amazing. It starts up right away. Anyway, it's not about generators. But they have a tool set in there, Jay, that is highly rated. And it's called Doyle. And I've done a review, I think, on it, and I take a lot of crap when I do these different reviews. They're like, really, Paul, you're going to recommend a Harbor? First of all, lifetime warranty. Harbor Freights aren't going to go anywhere. There's always one near you.
That's right.
You can always go back and say, it broke, give me another one. All my receipts are kept on the phone anyway, on my app anyway, so I've always got my receipt. And you have them email it to you. You've always got it. I dump all my emails, the Harbor Freight stuff that I buy, into a folder. So in case I got to go back. And I've had to go back one time for a broken tool. It was my fault. I walked in there and they gave me a brand new one. Just said, here, take it. So at the end of the day, the Doyle brand head-to-head looks just like the Klein. Just like it. And it basically... everything works the same. It's a tool, but I have this diagonal cutters, needle nose, side cutters, channel lock, the cutters for just normal. Like they have the cutter that the hook bill cutters that will actually cut 3/0, 2/0, 4/0. I mean, it works fine, especially aluminum. Harder for copper, but you get it. It's scissor cutter. They have all those, and so I rebought them all and put them through the paces. Kept taking them out there, and about a year ago, I was doing an awful lot of side stuff, and I just wanted to use them and see how loose they would do. They get all tightened up because that was the problem with some brands. They would get all tight. Ideal would get tight. Klein always would loosen. Depends on how much grit you get in there, or if you're pounding staples with it and you're not doing it right, you will cause a problem and you'll lose that. Or if you don't take care of your tools. I'm going to tell you what, Jay. You get a chance, pop into Harbor Freight, I'm sure you got one near you, and look at that Doyle line. And get a set just for one of your guys and have them try it out. And I think you'd be shocked. I know you're a Klein fan. And again, if Klein would like to sponsor a show. Jay is a Klein guy. Me, I'm not so loyal.
Come on, send it my way.
I'm not so loyal. Okay, so
Send it my way.
you know,
And I'll switch if there's Ideal or other competitors that want me to test it out versus the other one. Bring it on. Come on. I love free stuff. I love free stuff, and I love a bargain, and that's why I like Harbor Freight as well.
Well, then you're going to have to try the Harbor Freight Doyle. Just go buy you one set of side cutters for like $15.99, and you're like, well, I'm not getting a bargain for $15.99. Trust me, I would not steer you wrong. People out there, I would not steer you wrong. Okay, try them out. Give them a shot. Tell them Paul sent you. No, they don't know who I am. But
I need a set of those cutters.
Huh?
I need a set of those cutters. The bigger ones that you do the 2/0 with.
You know, they're not big. They're only about that long, and they'll cut about like that on it. But you put it around it, and you still got to do it. But aluminum, it'll cut fine. It'll cut 4/0 fine, and it's again, I mean, it ain't gonna take the place of a. But I mean, it's so I've got a whole set of it.
Have you ever used those cutters on the utility side when they bring in their service? You know that bare, their service drop.
It's got a steel core. That's the ACSR.
Oh, I ruined one of my buddy's cutters that way.
Yeah,
because of that steel. I went right through it, and it put a nasty gash into it.
Yeah, ACSR, aluminum conductor, steel reinforced. And it's a messenger. It's basically internal messenger. It's for the drop from the pole down, supports the weight. It's also the grounded neutral conductor. Jay, it's not a code night, but anyway, it's a. Oh,
sorry. I was just saying, if you have those cutters, don't use them on that wire because there is a steel messenger wire in it, and it will.
Why are you cutting theirs? Why are you messing with utility stuff?
That's for another episode.
Okay, see, he's one of those that probably connects without permission because he doesn't want to wait for utility people. Okay, but we'll go. I'm just saying, I would never do such a thing.
I'm an electrician.
Ever.
I'm a real electrician.
I'm a real electrician. All right. Okay. So second thing is you're a Klein fan, but you're open to other opportunities. You're a tool swinger. And me, I am a Doyle fan, but I do like Kleins, and I have a problem. And I do get some Green Lees that have, there's a new one out there, begins with the W. I can't remember the name of it. I can't even remember the name of it. I should have probably prepared a little more, Jake. But there's a couple of the brands, begins with the W. And I'm sure a listener will know what we're talking about. They're getting pretty popular, but they're expensive. And to me, I'm just not so loyal to it. And I know Klein and Greenlee and South, they're going to hate me saying that. And again, whatever you like is what you like. Whatever you feel comfortable is what you feel. We're just giving you our opinions. Klein, you can never go wrong. Work fine. But for me, once I put a set of those Doyles in my hands and started doing some work about a year ago with them, and I've worked with a lot of them for many years. And it just they felt right. So can't go wrong with the cost to give it a shot, and you can't go wrong. Okay? So, Klein and knockoff Harbor Freights. I still love Harbor Freight.
Do they come with a set?
Now, you buy each one of them independently.
Independently?
Yeah, I used to say what we were doing was we had a deal going. We still do. I have where we donate a complete set of tools every 3 months to anybody that sends in and tells us their story of why they need, like for an apprentice. So
sure.
It's a scholarship program that we do, but it can only works when people support it. So we don't just do it; people have to donate. And so part of the money that comes in for the donates, like great segue, Jay, and that is donating for our screwdrivers. This little screwdriver here that you got the little 8 bits in here. And you see it up at the above Jay's head there. It's donate 25, and you can get one of these screwdrivers. Just go to our website at masterthenec.com, .net or .org, whatever your flavor. And at the bottom, you can see where you can donate to help us. And some of the fees go towards that scholarship program as well. So that's what they do. And, of course, we got the little flashlights as well coming that you can donate as well. Okay, so, again, check them out. You want to donate. feel free to do that. You know, Jay, even during this chat, they can actually donate. It's called Super Chat, and they can make a donation during the actual show. And anybody that donates during the show, I will actually do a drawing, and I will send them one of these. And
do they have to donate a certain amount, or is it any donation?
No, any donation they want. Now, people that send a $25 donation, we've had quite a few people do that. I'm sending them one anyway.
Oh, they get it automatically.
I'll get it automatically. I mean, that'd be no different than if they donated on the website. But I've had a couple people that donate $5 and $10 and $15, and then at the end we'll put them in a drawing, and we'll draw them, and I'll let them know. What they need to do is they need to come back the next week, the next show, and I will announce the winner of the previous week. Now, sometimes I'll draw them right there. It just depends. But sometimes people want to donate, and even though you can still donate after the show ends, okay, in the chat. So that's called Super Chat, and it's available. Look at the little dollar symbol that's in the chat feature.
Now start donating.
Donate. Yeah, it helps good causes. Everything that we send for free takes care of the shipping on everything. It allows us to put money in the sponsorship so that it accumulates. Every 3 months we can give away a tool set, and they are going to be Doyle, by the way, because it's a great deal, and we get the case there, a little pack, and we send it out. So we started that this year. We've given away one already, and we're getting ready to do another one. We have enough donations in there to do it as well. So I can outfit an entire tool pouch for about $145.
Oh, wow.
And they're really good. All the hand tools that an apprentice will really need to get started, that type of thing. So if they're in need of that, or you know an apprentice that's in need of that they can send to me an email at info@masterthenec.com. Just a short email of why they feel they're worthy of what they're going through, that they're new into the business. I don't want no master electricians sending me, no journeymans. This is for apprentices.
Darn it.
This is for helpers. Yeah, no, you can't.
I was already filling mine out.
No,
okay,
you gotta go buy it. You're not gonna.
So I'm gonna try to get one. I'm trying to get one.
Klein boy. Klein in Milwaukee. You don't want no Doyle. Doyle. Okay. Anyway, all right. All right. So we have established that Jay has very high taste in endless budgets. Okay. What is that, Jay?
Have you tried their knockout set? I know we're getting off the topic of hand tools, but they have I think it's Chicago brand. It's a knockout set, hydraulic set.
Pittsburgh. They got Pittsburgh and Chicago brand. And
I have the Chicago brand.
Do you?
Love it.
How's it work? It's a knockout hole punch?
So it's a hydraulic knockout hole punch that goes up to 2-inch.
How's it do?
It does great. It does what a knockout punch should do.
It's a hydraulic ram and a male and female knockout piece that goes together that punches a hole. I mean, why would I pay $400 for something like that from a name brand when I'm only going to use that every now and then, and I can pick them up at Harbor Freight? It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
I got I had a guy that was just brutal on my hammer drills. Brutal. So I remember years ago, I picked up a hammer drill, one of the ones from Harbor Freight. You know, you open it up, it still smells like China. You know, like, what is this? You know? And I gave it to him and I said, hey, there's your hammer drill. And he kept just, true story here. He brutalized that thing and just could not burn it up. And he just brutalized it. Another story. Right here in the front of my house, in my entryway, it was, I have a concrete slab. It's Texas. We have no basements. And it's concrete slab. And they did the wood flooring. They glued it with that industrial glue, like liquid nail, super ninja stuff. And so when I changed my floors, the whole floor, everything, got rid of the carpet and put vinyl plank down because I didn't want to put hardwood. I was worried about any moisture or whatever, and I was paranoid. And my brother said, no, you need vinyl plank. So we put vinyl plank down. I had to dig up that wood. Jay, I will have you know that it took me 3 days of chiseling up and grinding. And what I did was I had to get grinding wheels because that glue wouldn't come up, and the wood just sputtered as it. And it's about a 6 by 6 foot piece that it had to be totally smooth as a baby's bottom. And my brother was like, you're not done. Typical my brother. You're not done until it's as smooth as a baby's bottom. So obviously it wasn't smooth. It was this glue, this hardened glue everywhere. I went to Harbor Freight and I got one of their cheap grinders. I'm talking their $29.99 grinder, because my mind is, I'm gonna burn this thing up.
Yep.
And
you're gonna abuse it.
I bought a big pack of the grinding wheels, and I just ground for 3 days, just nonstop. My back was killing me while he's laying the planks and doing that. I'm grinding because by the time he wants that smooth. Worst thing in the world. I'll never do that again in my life. But I grind. Did you know that grinder never gave up? 3 days. I'm talking hard pushing on it. And I'm not lying. From probably 7:30 in the morning till 6 or 7 at night, I sat there on the floor, Indian style, starting from 1 inch. And it would take, it's like I would take 15 minutes per inch to get it, because that stuff you have to grind it down.
Oh.
And I had to do this whole, just go across and go all the way. And then when I did it, my brother comes over and goes, "It's not smooth enough, Paul." I'm like, "Who are you? Mengele?" So anyway, I grinded some more. I had to made 2 trips to get extra blades at Harbor Freight, because I was burning through them. And that drill, which I believe was like a Chicago or something, never, ever let me down, that grinder.
Wow.
And I mean, I burned it to where it was hot. And I didn't, he's like, "Don't push it so hard, you're going to burn it up." I'm like, "It's $29. I'm burning it."
I'm burning it.
I still
Plus,
have
if it breaks, you can go and return it and get another one.
Yeah, they'll give you another one. They no questions asked. So I mean, where can you go wrong with that?
And I have apprentices that you can't always watch them, right? You're on a job site, or maybe you leave them with a licensed guy, and they're in different rooms, different sections, doing different tasks for that day. So maybe they're drilling or grinding for 2 to 3 hours, and you just can't watch them and teach them how to use that tool. So like you said, you just give it to them and they beat it up, and at the end of the day, they'd come back with a hole saw set, or maybe a unibit set, a brand new set or brand new hole saw unibit, and it's toast.
Yeah.
And you get these Lennox ones, these Klein ones, these Milwaukee ones, kind of the more expensive ones, because you want them to last longer. And this apprentice comes back, and you're just like, "Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna go to Harbor Freight. I'm going to buy you the exact same thing that I just gave you, and that's going to be your own. Okay, here, make it last for a week." So
yeah,
it never fails.
In bulk, right? You get them in those big packs of tons of them, and you're like, "Here you go, have at it."
Yeah, you're not touching it. If it's Milwaukee or Lennox, walk away from it. Don't come touching that stuff. Okay.
Now I will tell you, and I will tell you of blades, and we're going to really talk about blades, but Sawzall blades and things like that. Have you used in circular saw blade? Have you used any Diablos?
I have used the Diablos.
Oh my God! I don't know what your experience with the Diablo, but them things cut like a beast. That is worth the extra money for those Sawzall blades or those circular saw blades, because they just are a beast.
Sure.
I couldn't stop one of them. It was just cutting. It just was amazing. So those are worth me spending a little more, for those Diablos and things like that. But again, you can buy about 20 of them at Harbor Freight. But again, there's some things, I can't, even I can't compromise on some, high quality stuff.
Right.
Just saying. So I like Diablo. It's for this show, but Diablo, if you're out there, this was not for Jay. This is for me. I like Diablos and
in my way too. I'll try it out. I'll test it.
Contractor.
They're a little thicker. The blades are a little thicker, but they last a little longer. Yep. Sure.
Now they have this one Sawzall blade that will literally cut through anything, and it just is. I did get a sample of one that was given to me by a friend of mine, Dustin Stelzer, and he sent me one. And no, you know what? He didn't send it. It was online. If you give them your name, they'll send you one. I think he might have posted something on Electrician U, and then they send it, and I said, "Hey, I'll send it in." And they sent one of those things. That was the best Sawzall blade ever. It's just amazing. So, all right. So, as you hear my dog in the background, sorry about that, everybody. My wife just does not know how to keep an orderly house.
You can pick those blades up too. The Diablos at Home Depot. I noticed those. They're right next to
Oh, the
you know
Diablos are at Home
Oxy.
Depot?
But yep, you can pick them up at Home Depot.
Cool. Now we're supporting Home Depot because my son works at Home Depot. So it's all
We're
good.
getting all kinds of shout outs today.
Yeah, everywhere.
Giving
Man, we ought to have like 50 sponsors on this daggone.
No, I need a Milwaukee sponsor
Are
right
you
here.
back? Are you back to that?
I didn't know I changed.
We're off of that. We moved on. All right. So that takes me to the next question. Jay, if you had one tool that you just can't live without, what would it be? What is that one tool you just can't live without?
That's a no-brainer.
Let's not be cliche, right? Let's say the drill, because if I didn't have the drill, Paul, I would have to do it by hand like they did back in the 18th. No. If you had to have one tool,
yeah,
what would it be?
No brainer. My 11-in-1. I would have to have my 11-in-1
Screwdriver?
Screwdriver. One tool. It's
11-in-1?
My 11-in-1. I would have to have that just because, like you were saying with a drill. Let's say you're out in the field and you have just your drill. You leave your truck and you have your drill. You don't check your battery. You go down there. You're starting to use it. It cuts out on you. No matter what you're doing, then you have to go charge your battery. So my go-to is just my 11-in-1. I actually have 11-in-1 that has a little blade on it as well, to where you can strip your wire and pull it off through that 11-in-1 as well.
Wow.
So the reason why I go with 11-in-1 is because it's not battery operated, so it's never going to die on me. I can interchange the pieces to a square bit, a flathead, a Phillips, and whatever other ones it has. So it has multiple uses. Because some of these homes I go into, I take off that cover plate, and obviously you're hoping for a Phillips head, 2 screws on that device. You use your 12-volt drill to pull it out. Mm-hmm. Well, it has a flathead. It's an older one. Yeah. Probably one that you installed, when you were first coming in, so that they only had those flatheads. I don't know. Seem like they're older ones. You might be able to test that. But anyways, whoa. So I would take it and I could actually use my Milwaukee for that.
Okay.
One. So
it's enough of the old references, Jay. Leave those to me. Okay. All right. So 11-in-1. 11-in-1.
That's my go-to.
Okay. Again, so I kind of killed it for me when I said you can't say drills and you can't say this, because I was going to say, my drill, but I killed that because you can't. I mean, those are the obvious. You need those to do the work, right? So you're right. We're talking about your day in and day out, the tools you can't do without that type of thing. And I'm going to have to follow you with that. I never had 11-in-1, but I had an 8-in-1. So it was basically just Phillips, different size flats, and then a square, and then I think a cog or whatever they call it, star, something like. Yeah, that's just easy. Pop in and out, be able to do the work. I think it's probably the one tool that I couldn't live without. Of course, we jest because we know today we couldn't live without our drills, the technology, everything that we get. So it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of question because, we're not going to go back to not having those things. But the concept was, what is that one thing that you just gravitate to, that you just always want to make sure that you grab and it's in your pocket when you go in the house? You're going to need the drills. You're going to need everything else. But there's that one thing that you grab and you throw in your pocket. And for you, it's the 11-in-1. For me, it's like an 8-in-1. I need to step up my game. I need 11-in-1. I need to go find out what this 11-in-1 is all about. Okay. So, but, the ability to have the different bits, because we're doing so many things. You're right. So on a trim out, that brings me to my next question then, because this becomes real important. End up on this one is, do you carry all your tools around with you? I see pictures of people, they literally have their entire tool bag with everything. When I started out as an apprentice and working in the trade, I wanted to carry everything. I was like, I'm going to be an electrician. I got every tool. Okay. And it weighs down on your back. It pulls you down. And back in my day, again, no more of your age references, but back in my day, we didn't have the shoulder supports and all this kind of stuff. It just was a tool belt, and you cinched it tight, and you had your leather pouch, and you have your front pouch that had your either wire connectors in it and staples and things like that, or connectors or screws, whatever you're doing, commercial or whatever. And I would wear that all day long. And it would literally just wear you out. It'd give you stretch marks on your hips, even if you ain't got love handles. It would just literally pull you down, okay? So over the years, I got to where I just would have two things. Either I would have a little small mini pouch that had a belt clip, a clip like a gun, just a clip that would slip over your belt.
Yep.
And I would click it on, and inside of it would have my Kleins. It would have my 8-in-1 screwdriver. It would have a little hook to hang my knife, my hook bill knife off of. My Klein little knife. Now I got a nicer one today, but I can't remember where it is. There you go. Just like that. That's exactly, for those who are on the podcast, you can't see it, but that is just a perfect little pouch that holds about 4 tools. I would have my side cutters. I would have the diagonals. I would have my all-in-one screwdriver, 8-way, 8-in-1s, that on it. My knife clicked to it. It usually had a little tassel that I would hang a tape off of it. And I could literally, that's what I would take trimming a house. And that's all you need, right? Put devices in. The screwdriver. Now, of course, also on mine, I had a wiggy screwdriver. That was the Klein ones with the offset that spun. Have you seen those? They have them on Phillips and straight. Oh, man, it's like, man, just gotta be careful you don't slip off the screw and put a nick in the wall. My helpers would do that, and I was they were like, oh, no, that happened. I know how it happened. You weren't controlling your tool.
Let me see the tip of that one. Let me see the tip real quick. And it has that white dust mark on it. You know, the white because you penetrated the drywall.
Yeah, it's got the gypsum board all over the end of it.
What happened here? Powder donut?
It matches the hole. Guilty. He's like, I don't know how that happened. It must have been the other guy. You're the only one putting in switches and receptacles today, buddy. So
that's right.
So yeah, I kind of break it down, but I do get a kick out of seeing the young apprentices. And, it's all cool. You see the pictures on Instagram, and I mean, they literally have every tool. They got the torpedo levels. They've got the I mean, they got
their tin snips,
everything. And you're like, dude, it's gonna tear your back up. Okay, so me and my brother used to laugh. We would watch the progression of apprentice that we were training. And after about a year, they were just walking around with their, some cases, not even the little mini pouch. Some cases, the Klein stuck halfway in their pocket, one side of it in their pocket, one out. The screwdriver stuck in their back pocket. And, the side cutters, the strippers stuck in, and they're not even carrying anything around anymore. I'm like, what happened to your pouch? That stuff's heavy, man. I'm like, it only took you a year to figure that out. Now, some guys would say, though, commercial, if they're on a lift, they don't want to have to go down and up and down and up and down and up. But I always had a bucket with one of those inserts that had all my tools around the bucket, one of those things that go inside of it. Or I'd have my tool bag or something that would have all my stuff. But I'm not, if I'm going on a lift or something, but I'm not going to carry it all. I'm not going to take everything on my hips. What about you? I'm sure you're like me. You still have the big bag with all the tools in it, which I carry in a tool bag, which again I got from Harbor Freight. Hold on. Yes, and again because they make some great bags with wheels on them, and they're cheap, and hey, beat it up, you get another one. There's some really good stuff at Harbor Freight. I ain't lying. If you're a Harbor Freight hater, it's gone. All right. So what do you do? Do you do the pouch? Do you carry? You do that little one like you had there? That just basically is that your trim out, rough in? And when I'm drilling holes, I don't really need any tools. To be honest with you, when I'm drilling, I'm just drilling. So. Yeah,
so I actually stick with if I'm just boxing out, I'll have a hammer, a marker, and a tape measure. That's it.
That's it.
Those are my 3 that I go to, and a lot of times we do when we're roughing out the boxes down low for receptacles, just your normal general purpose receptacles. We actually, in our company, we all have the same hammer.
Yeah, you were saying about the concept of setting a hammer up and you marking off the hammer.
Yep, and that's what we do. We don't even mark. We just use the top of the hammer as our mark. So then we put the box up to it, pinch our fingers on the inside of that single gang or double gang, triple gang nail on, and our thumb on the outside of that stud to hold it sturdy, and then we're pounding it. Now, why you'd have a triple game down low, maybe they have TV connections, whatever it is. It's, that's a debate. But so we go around and we do hammer heights for that. I used to, coming up from the commercial background, I would do the bucket as well. I didn't have the bucket buddy. What I would do is inside my
That's
bucket,
what
I
it
would have
was. Like a bucket buddy.
the bucket buddy. Yeah, come take all my tools. Is how I looked at it in a way, because you'd have these nice tools, and you go to break, and they're on the outside. So many trades are in and out of that section. I was just worried about using the bucket buddy in a commercial atmosphere
Right.
when someone might just come by and
Because a
snag.
bucket buddy makes it easy for things to walk off out of a bucket buddy.
Everything is visible, and
Yeah.
that's the only downside that I've seen from it. But other than that, I'd have a bucket, and I'd put all my drill bits, my arbor bits, hole saws, the unibits, all in the bottom of the bucket, and then I would take my pouch and I would fit it inside the bucket. I'd try to smash it together and fit it inside the bucket. So when I came to work, I had a bucket in my right hand, and I had my lunch hand. That's how I came in. And then I generated to the big pouches. I had the gator back pouches. I had to be cool and keep up with the cool kids. And what I found with those,
got to be like the Joneses.
you got to be like the Joneses or
Yeah.
or the Abernath, or whoever it is.
Yeah.
So you put these big gator pouches on, and the tools that you put in them, and the pouch itself weighs more than you do. And you just
You're walking around the whole job site like this,
yeah.
and it's pulling you down. And everybody's like, "What's wrong with you? Got back problems?" Not yet, but I will. Yeah. So, again, it just, we had the bags and we would keep them all. There's some pretty neat cool tool bags that they have now and that type of thing. But again, I see the pictures on Instagram and everybody's carrying every tool known to man on their side.
Sure.
And then they got nailed, and then they got the suspenders that hold it. So they're like, yeah, but it doesn't have as much weight. I'm like, do you really need all of those tools on your hip? What are you doing that you need all that? You're usually doing it one project at a time. If I'm hanging conduit or something, I don't need all that. Anyway, that's what they do. So again, so they don't carry all that. I don't carry all my tools. You don't carry all your tools. There was a time when we probably both did and had everything. And again, but we learned that, certain tools for certain jobs. And you don't need to carry all the tools of everything you have. You don't need sheet metal snips when you're not cutting anything in sheet metals. You don't need all that. Keep them in the bag, that type of thing.
If I'm going up and down a ladder, though, I have, other than that, I think it was a 7 or 8 tool pouch that I showed you that you were talking about. You keep your general tools on you that you need. I'll throw on my Occidentals, and they have the strap over my shoulders, because my objective is to go up that ladder once.
Yeah, go up once and take whatever you think you're going to need up there.
So
maybe they're putting
will
everything. Maybe they're putting everything in there because they don't know exactly what they're going to need up there.
Yeah, very well could be too.
But when I see residential guys walking around the house with the tool pouch on like that with everything in it, then you got to say, no, you don't need all that stuff in a residential. Maybe commercial. Now we'll let them make their own decision because they bought their tools. They can do whatever they want with their tools. Okay, they bought them. They own them. They didn't get them given to us like we're going to get all these tools coming in from all these sponsors coming from moving forward. Bring them in. Bring them. We'll try.
So have you ever used the tool, the Staple Shark? Have you heard of it or used it?
It's not the power stapler, is it?
No,
Okay.
it's not a power stapler. It's probably about a 12-inch metal tool that you can slip in your pouch. It's maybe 4 inches wide. On one end, it's like a pry bar where
Right.
you could put that section on a nail and pry it out. Maybe one of those old nail-in metal boxes, or
Right.
you could use it as a pry bar. Can't go too crazy on it because again, it's really thin. But on the other end of it, it has a hook, a sharp hook that you put in between the metal stud or the wood stud and the staple, the existing staple, and you pry it off instead of like using your side cutters, or some
Or
people
using
use
a screwdriver and trying to put it under there, and then you crushing the NMB.
Yep.
That type of thing. No, I have not. I have not seen one. Typically, when I'm removing staple, I actually use my Kleins, and I'll grab the side of a staple, and then I'll pry it, teeter it that way, and it'll pop it right out because the 2x4 is only so wide. So I grab it with one side and I pop it out that way. Or if you wiggle it, the whole thing will come off. But I haven't seen any of those.
Yeah, they come in handy. We did a remodel on a project where they had bar tops, and then they cut down the bar tops and did flat tops in an apartment complex, and they'd cut the bar top off, and so everything was exposed down because they had their wires run down low in the studs, maybe 4-6 inches off the ground. So you'd literally be reaching down into that cavity to undo a staple. And these staple sharks, they're just so slim and sleek and neat that they're designed to take that staple
thin,
off.
Though, but it was enough. It had enough meat on it to be able to pry the staple. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's what it was designed for, to pry the staple. Now, can't lift, a car or anything crazy with it. You can't try to use it to pry off, something that's not electrically related. But for the most part, it's pretty good.
So it's specific name. So what's the name of it again?
Staple shark.
Staple shark. Staple shark. If you're watching out there, he's already got one. Send me one. I'll try it out. Okay. If not, go get you a staple shark. I'd much rather you use something like that to get the staple out if you need to get the staple out versus potentially damaging the cable. Okay.
Yes.
You don't want to damage the cable. So again, I tell people all the time, if you rip the sheathing, we can, as a manufacturer, can give you instructions on how to repair sheathing. We cannot give you instructions on how to repair insulation. So if you do something and you damage the insulation, electrical tape's not going to cut it. Now, of course, you're going to do what you're going to do when nobody's looking. But the reality is electrical tape cannot take the place of insulation. Okay? So despite what you've heard, you fixing nicks and everything, it's okay as long as you didn't lose any insulation. So if I have a little nick in it and it's all intact and I can close it back and then I can put tape on it, then I might be okay. If any of that insulation is missing, you can't use electrical tape as a replacement for insulation. Don't know if you knew that, Jay, but you can't. That comes from the wire and cable industry, and you just can't do it. So people think they can just put electrical tape on everything, okay? So you can't. Not everything, all right? So, Jay, that brings us to the end of the show. Is there anything else that we did not touch on that you want to touch on when it comes to tools and brands and things like that that we didn't touch on? Multimeters. Who's your favorite brand multimeter? Fluke, Fleer, what's your favorite brand?
Yeah, Fluke. Fluke is what we use. Fluke, right, hands down. I
have some Flukes, but I also was telling you earlier, I have a product from Harbor Freight. It's called Ames. I've done a review on it. It's an amazing RMS meter. It does amazing stuff. Hertz, it does hold, it does capacitors, it's got a voltage detector, it's got an amp probes. It's amazing. Jay's going to run out and get one because he's like, that sounds amazing. But anyway, I did that extensively. Now, people know I will also be called out, and that's mainly what I do today, is people that are having issues troubleshooting will call me out. And I go out right frequently to jobs where people can't figure something out or they got a problem, whether it's in commercial or whatever it is, and I will troubleshoot. I use the Ames for all of that, and I've been very pleased with it. It has the Cat 3 and Cat 4, I believe, rating on it. It's designed for 1,000 volts. That's typically all I'll deal with is 1,000 volts or less. So it's insulated. It's very robust. It is not cheap. It does not feel cheap. And it is loaded with features. Not that I'm going to push anybody away from a Fluke or Fleer or any of those other brands. They make good meters. I'm just saying, budget-wise and the features that you get with it, it's really hard to beat. Okay? So, again, that's my other Harbor Freight plug tonight. I know I'm going to get hate mail for that, but, it is what it is. I don't really care. Okay, call me whatever you want to call me. It gets the job done. But in all fairness, Jay, back when I was heavily in the trade, okay, all fairness, it was Milwaukee's, it was the Kleins and whatnot. And of course, I've gotten soft now as I got older here. So maybe you're the young guy. That's why you're still using it. I'm the old guy. I don't care if I break it. I don't care. All right, maybe that's it. Maybe.
Maybe not. I really enjoy Milwaukee just because I've had some situations where power tools have gone down on me. I've taken them into the Milwaukee manufacturer here in Denver, and they look up the SKU number without a receipt, without any type of purchase date. They can tell on the actual power tool itself if it's within that 5-year warranty, and they'll just replace it, or they don't give you a replacement one to take with you when you leave, like a loaner one, which I don't think any manufacturer would, but they do replace it without any questions, and so I like that.
You know, Milwaukee, if you're listening, fanboy wants a sponsor for the show. Okay, we have over 300,000 unique listeners a month that download. So there you go. That's a market share. All right, Jay, that's it for our show tonight. Again, as always, I'll see you next week, and we'll have another interesting topic. So again, thanks everybody for joining us this week on Electrician Live. And it's been great having you here. Remember, share the show. Let everybody know it's Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on electricianlive.com, or you can come over to youtube.com/Master the NEC. You're also listening over the podcast over on Electrician Live or on Spreaker, Spotify, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Apple Tunes, Apple Podcasts. Think about coming to the video sometime and chiming in with me and Jay and enjoying the show. Again, there's 2 flavors to this show. You can listen to us because our voices are just in harmony. Or you can come and look at these beautiful faces. Maybe not. All right, folks, till next time, stay safe. God bless.
Electrician Live with your host, Paul Abernathy and Jay Grunberg.